All right, welcome back to SERIE podcast for the fans. We're here today to talk about a hot topic, and there could be a couple punches thrown here because we are both for two of the better midfield teams, but we're here to find out who is the best midfielder in Serie A, if there is one single player. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the channel. But Bruno, who's your pick and why?
Look, I've got a. It's very hard to. So if you're gonna say the best midfielder, you'd have to say Kessie because from AC Milan because they're top of the table and he's a midfielder there. And then you look at Champions League and you've got Milinkovic-Savic who's stepped up. But then you look at individual performances and an individual performance on the pitch, win, lose or draw. You got Barella, who undoubtedly would probably be the future of Italy in the sense of the national team, future captain 100% if it doesn't go to Donnarumma, right? So I feel that it's really hard because then you've got Mkhitaryan from Roma, who's there. Luis Alberto, the list in Serie A of quality of midfielders is phenomenal, and you can't go past Rodrigo de Paul, who I wanted at Inter to come to Inter. But that's probably where I would draw the line. Honourable mentions to Locatelli from Sassuolo, but I just don't think he's anywhere near the caliber that's required. But look, I would say Kessie, Barella, and it's tight between the two Lazio midfielders. All right, it's tight between the two of them. I just feel Kessie's a part of a team that's absolutely on fire and has been since last season, the back end of last season. And then you've just got this individual talent in Barella who he's evolving in front of our very eyes, where he's playing one position 1 minute, another position another minute, creating chances, scoring goals. And I'm pretty sure he scored what I still think is goal of the season with his volley. But providing assists and everything. So, it is, you said it's a highly contested topic, but I just think the quality in Serie A, you go, who's the best midfielder in the Premier League? And the answer is De Bruyne. All right. Everyone knows that that's the answer, but it's not that clear-cut in Serie A. So my answer is I've got a top three in no order, but I can't say who the best is.
Yeah, I've been seeing on social media, and everybody's saying Barella. But I mean, I think it's quite funny because I've been there 3 years ago, and 3 years ago we had Milinkovic-Savic, and Milinkovic-Savic was putting in this really good performance, and then he was okay, he was okay, and the potential side, for some reason, gives people votes for the players. They see potential, so they give him votes. They say, oh, this guy's so young, so he deserves extra votes. And last year, how many people said Tonali? Tonali is one of the best midfielders in the league. Tonali this, Tonali that, future Italy captain, Tonali this. And you know what? If someone only started following Serie A this season, they wouldn't know who Tonali is. And in all fairness, I think Tonali has grown more this season with the limited game time at Milan than he did with Brescia in the whole season. So I think that Barella is potential. I think he has a lot of flaws, I think that even with Milinkovic-Savic, his biggest and strongest thing is that when other players aren't there to step up, he finds a way to step up. He's not the best midfielder week in, week out. You know, he does that one or two things during a game. He's not the workhorse. You know, even though he does do a lot of defending. Like he does do a lot of defending. He's gonna get better Milinkovic-Savic. But this is where I see Barella sort of about 2 years time. You know, he's going to be where Milinkovic-Savic is now, which is a really good place.
Yeah.
Luis Alberto has been dreadful at the start of the season up until January. This year he's been sensational. This January has been sensational. His goal assists haven't happened because he's just decided to score them himself. So he has been sensational for Lazio, scoring goals, and it's tactically Inzaghi has been taking off Cancedo and bringing on Akbar and pushing Luis Alberto up front a little bit as well later on in games. So he has been playing a little bit more forward, but that's not the reason he's been so good. But I think Locatelli has been really, really good at a small club. At a small club, I think that, you know, a young player, I think he's growing. I'd really love him to go to a bigger name club for the national team. You know, just to play up against the guys that can push you around through that midfield. I don't think he's got that the fatigue which a Barella would have in playing back-to-back games consistently. But definitely Kessié is number one for me. He's definitely number one. Milan, even like this season, I feel that they have, even though they're only 3 points clear, I feel they dominated this year. I feel that they have, when they've played better than teams. You know, even there was a 2-2 draw. I'm not sure if it was against Genoa when they were absolutely destroying the team, and they ended up drawing 2-2. But Milan have been strong in pretty much every game. And I think that he has been a leader in that team, and you know, even though they got momentum and all this, you still need to do your job. The team's coming first. He's been really strong. Everyone likes to see these attacking midfielders, the guys scoring the goal, but people just don't give credit to the guys that are defending. And I'm sure that.
Look, I think you've hit the nail on the head. On regards to Kessie, but in regards to Barella, I feel, because this question's come up a lot since the Juventus fixture, and he dominated Juventus on his own. So a lot of people saw that performance like, well, if you can do that against Juventus, you're the best player in the Serie A. But I also feel a lot of it's not based on potential. Because when Inter is down and out, and we've seen that a lot with Inter this season, where they've been behind and behind and behind, and they come back to win the game and they come back to draw the game and so forth. Barella has been key in that. He's been absolutely, as an individual player, if you were to highlight a player individually in the Inter squad, you would think Barella. Only because he's just been a pivotal part in that midfield. You've had Brozovic in and out of the squad, Vidal in and out of the squad, Gagliardini in and out of the squad, and Christian Eriksen when he shows his face and so forth. But the constant's been Barella. And the same with Kessie. When it comes to Milinkovic-Savic, I feel since the 2018 World Cup, he's been underrated, because, you know, the last time I saw and said, "Oh my God, man of the match performance," Milinkovic-Savic was against Inter last season when they beat Inter. But in saying that, when you watch Milinkovic play, he he doesn't play in the sense of, look at me, I'm man of the match, I deserve man of the match, look at what I'm doing. He plays in the sense of he just has that when he has the ball, you have a confidence in him. And he has that pass, that 10% pass that generally isn't 10%. It's a 90%, but for him, but a 10% for any other midfielder. And he steps up when Immobile isn't having the best of games. He steps up when, you're struggling to find the back of the net. And I feel as a complete player, it's Milinkovic. I just feel you can't just pick one best midfielder. It's such tight competition.
The reason I pick Kessié for Milan is because, and the reason I don't pick Barella is because I think that the Milan midfield is dominating. So it's the same with Milinkovic-Savic. He controls the midfield when he plays, where Barella plays well as an individual. I feel that he hasn't acquired that skill, that Pirlo skill, to control a midfield and to slow a tempo down, to play a ball back, to be in control of a midfield. I've seen some great things from Barella, and like you say, he's been man of the match for Inter.
He's 23 years old.
Yeah, I have not seen the control of a midfield and the experience that comes with age. And this is why I say I think he's probably 2 years off, because it's the same thing with Milinkovic-Savic. 2 years ago, he was popping up and doing something sensational and grabbing the highlights and being really good. But now, Lazio were depleted in Champions League, and we had some Primavera players there. But the one consistent was the touches from Milinkovic were consistently happening. He was down on his feet, fatigued, but he was controlling the game with his tempo. And this is where Kessié comes in it as well. He's controlling the midfield.
Look, he scored 6 goals and got him 2 assists as well this season, Kessié. And, in a team where Ibrahimovic, I think's played 9 games, and he's on 12 goals, something like that. And he's getting all the goals, and then you got Theo Hernandez, who's absolutely killing it there too. To get 6 goals and 2 assists and have your name in this conversation, it's you know what? Take out last week's game, Juventus Inter. I don't think there'd be a doubt about Kessie being top. But I don't know. Ask me the question at the end of the season. Ask me the question at the end of the season when we do our team of the season and we put together our own squad. Ask me then who's player midfielder of the season.
Yeah, look, this is the biggest problem with midfielder of the season, because you got teams like the Lazio and Inter, obviously, and Atalanta that play the 5-man midfield. Now, with Barella being pushed to a wing, more than a central midfielder, he loses the ability to control the game, because he's not in that back position where Vidal and Brozovic are. So he's going to lose a lot of the limelight with the midfielders. But then, where do you when you say midfield, do you mean the Hakimis, the Lazaris? You know what I mean? Like,
Theo Hernandez.
Well, I'm not a massive fan of Theo. I think Theo is one of these players that he's got great potential. He does some really good things, but he's not that consistent. His dives really do my head in. But once again, you need a leader behind you that guides players forward. And this is the whole thing where midfielders win in Serie A. The best midfield wins in Serie A because it's a balanced thing. So it controls the defense because the best defense generally always wins, and the midfield virtually controls everything. So this is the whole thing. This is why I say Kessié, because he controls the midfield better. And I think influential Papa Gomez was sensational, but he's on the bench. But he's barely playing now, but we'll see where he goes. But I think Kessié is the most influential. He's probably the best because his team is playing at a tempo that he wants them to play at. And I think that Barella right now, he's just in the last probably 3 weeks, Conte shifted him out wide. He's got a lot more freedom to run the ball. But generally, you're seeing a lot of crosses and a lot of runs through the middle rather than actually, getting the ball, stopping, passing back, and controlling the tempo of a game. So it's very hard because you can say that, Luis Alberto over the last year has been the best midfielder because he's been the most creative. You know what I mean? With his playmaking. I don't think Barella's that kind of player. I think Sensi's that kind of player, but Sensi's been out hurt. I think Barella's been shifted into a different position. He's getting a lot more time on the ball thanks to Hakimi being on the side and Conte tactics. But I'd like to say Milinkovic, but I think it's Kessié. And it's always opinionated. We said at the start.
Yeah.
So yeah,
sounds good. I think we'll leave that topic there before we get too involved. But yeah, like you said, it's opinionated. The talent in Serie A this season is phenomenal. You're debating between a team who's on absolute fire at the moment with a player who is potentially the next Italian national captain. And it's just, he's 23 years old. There's still a lot to learn. You can't be the best at 23. I'm sorry. Simple as that.
Yeah, well, we as an Italian national team, right now we are all potential. Zaniolo, Locatelli, Sensi, Barella, Bastoni, Panorama, it is. If Moses Keane can lift to a next level, wow, we're going to have something special for years to come as a national team.
100%.
Yeah. All right. I'd say we'll wrap it up, and I'd say there was a clear winner and a clear loser, but we're going to let the fans decide on who.
Let us know.
All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the channel and the content. Will keep on coming. So, ciao.
Ciao.